So, okay, guys, we are live. So, welcome to the 15th episode of formerly known Meteor Mentor Group. Now we're actually calling ourselves the Meteor University. That's not just being arrogant. That's just trying to be uh, ambitious about our goals, and we are hoping for the best. We're also trying to describe what we are about actually, because the word university is kind of what successfully reflects the kind of thing we are trying to do here. It's open exchange of information and people both learning and teaching at the same time to each other. And so yeah, that's what we've been trying to do for the past few months. And now it's like, I don't know, 30 weeks almost, maybe. No, it's not 30, but it's a few months. And then this is our 15th episode, live hangout. And a few of them were live coding sessions, and a few of them were like this, just discussion sessions. And today's topic is JavaScript imports in the context of Meteor. I am Serkan, if you haven't gotten to know me yet, and that you guys introduce yourselves. So let's begin with Kaya, since he's the oldest member here. Kaya, could you take a minute to tell us about yourself?
Well, my name is Kais, and I'm from Bangladesh. Started programming Meteor a couple of months back, and I was really looking for a group where I can share my problems and look for guidance of how to work and how not to, nitty-gritty stuffs of the Meteor that I couldn't find in the forums and on the short Google search. So I was looking for it, and this group was founded. Joined them, with the help of it. Learned a lot. I attended like almost all of the meetings in the Hangout. Learned a lot. Asked the most questions. Bothered Serkan the most on the Slack. Hey, we got answers, and yeah, I launched my startup and stuff. But still running, still learning new stuff. Meteor 1.3, 1.6, AES6, and React stuff like that. Yeah. So that's it basically.
That's about the spot. Yes, 6, and we're going to discuss all of those today. Okay, so skipping you, Julio, for the moment. Alfred, could you introduce yourself to us?
Okay. I'm Alfred. In my early 20s. I started programming with Python and shifted to Django in the web development. But then, the idea of JavaScript, using JavaScript all over was pretty interesting. So I switched to Meteor just so that when you code like JavaScript, then you shift to Python, then you back. Just so the consistency and programming. Yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Glad I found this great.
You have done a you have chosen wisely, my friend, because Meteor is actually a breath of fresh air for almost anyone coming from many different technologies, and JavaScript is actually quite powerful nowadays. And Meteor makes it really hard, easy for you to, skip over all those hard moving mechanics parts, and pave you a great way to get going, and then improve your JavaScript skills in the meantime as well. So our start today is actually Julio. We were discussing JavaScript imports last night. Right before I was off to partying, he was working busy on his projects. Now it's like 7 in the morning in there. He's from Brazil. Could you introduce yourself to us, Julio?
Yes. As I said, I'm Julio from Brazil. I was a coder maybe 20 years back, and
Wow.
and I had a different path on my job or my career, but I always kept reading about it and following the world of coding. And then when I decided to launch my own company here in Brazil, I went looking for a framework to work with and found Meteor as best solution. and I've been coding with it since version 0.9.
Mm-hmm. Ah.
And now we have a product. We are selling it, but I'm struggling a bit with the new ways of working with Meteor since 1.3, especially the import thing. I can't understand.
Yeah. Okay. So then let's begin. All right. So let me clarify a few things first. First of all, imports is a new feature that is introduced with the latest release of JavaScript. The version dubbed as ES6 before, and now it's called ES 2015. And hopefully JavaScript is gonna do more rapid releases after this, and probably in a yearly life cycle. So we're gonna be seeing lots of new stuff coming up. Um Meteor 1.3 was the point in time where Meteor releases fully embraced JavaScript 2015 and its many new features, including the imports that we're going to discuss today. Furthermore, it's become the first fully NPM integrated release in terms of being able to import packages from directly npm. I mean, we used to be able to do that before, but we were using Atmosphere packages for that. I mean, the Meteor package format to wrap npm packages and then expose them to our applications. And everything used to be a global. I mean, anything exposed by a package or exposed within any JavaScript file, unless it was keyworded with var, it was all global, everywhere, accessible everywhere. So the ability to work with npm using packages directly from there, and then the ability to export and import stuff, kind of introduced some new paradigms about especially load orders, especially what is used where and what comes from which file, etc. So it's kind of a new paradigm, but suffice it to say, it's really powerful. It is still optional, by the way. So that's the key. If you are working on a project and you are actually overwhelmed by your directory structuring, your code structuring, and your application, feels just fine the way it is, you don't have to switch over to imports at all. But it's the way forward. I mean, if you are working on an application that's going to be maintained for a long time, it's always best to be prepared and try to embrace what's coming up. And this is what's coming up. So yeah, this is optional. So if you feel stuck currently with a deadline, and then you have an existing Meteor project and you want to move forward with it as soon as possible, and deliver something, you can really skip imports. Everything is just the same, actually. I mean, nothing has changed that drastically from a previous version to Meteor 1.3. But that being said, let's discuss how we could actually, utilize this imports and harness its power to better structure our projects. So the main problem with the former app structure with the Meteor was everything was kind of dependent on where you are putting your files, the first name of the file and its sort order in the file system, or in which directory it was, if the directory was called a server, or if the directory was called a client, or it contained the name lib in it, or it contained the name main in it. And all the, or is it in a package, or is it declared as a dependency of another package, or it declares other packages as dependencies and whatnot, or the order of the files within the packages file in the Meteor folder. I mean, all of these kind of ended up deciding the load order of your JavaScript and HTML and CSS files. But the thing is, once your app begins growing, it becomes really hard to manage that. I mean, you have interdependencies. you find yourself depending on a file, but it has to be in another folder somewhere else in the deep structure, so it doesn't get loaded first. So you rename it, you change it to a different folder. It's not sufficient, so you decide you want to make it a package, and then you start working with packages and exporting stuff and manually having to declare all the files that have to end up in the package bundle, etc. So there were really stuff that was making it hard for you as a JavaScript developer, as a developer generally, to structure your app. So I mean, if you were able to do that, you're still able to do it with the same underlying technologies and paradigms, but using imports makes it kind of easy to explicitly say, hey, I'm a block of JavaScript and I need underscore now, or I need moment.js, or I need something from MongoDB. So I want to be loaded before my block. So you could actually tell that to the JavaScript engine. You could say import simple schema from the package, or import Mongo from Meteor's package, or import Meteor itself as a symbol, or import underscore, or import moment.js, anything that comes to mind. Or let's say you have a file with some JavaScript block in it, and it depends on some other file in your application, and you want to make sure that that other file gets loaded before this one, or you depend on something that that other file has. Let's say it has a keyword like, I don't know, it has some function that queries the database and gets a list of users for you, for example, and you want to reuse that function, and then, or it's a component, or it's a template, something, it's whatever it is. You just want to reuse it. What you do is actually import that file. I mean, sometimes the file itself, sometimes something specifically in that file. For example, that specific function that we were talking about. So this is generally what the imports and exports bring on the table. Or you can contain a file with lots of different things. The file can have some internal methods and functions that you don't want to expose to your whole application. You just don't need it in the application. You just need those small snippets of functions to make sure that some main function that file provides to your app to work properly. But in the current Meteor world, it's kind of like you place the var keyword in front of it. It's scope. You don't. It's available to the whole app. So it's not really flexible. But using explicit exports, you can take pieces of the file individually and tell your app that, hey, if you need some functionality, here I am, and this is my name. You can call me and use me. So that's how the export counterpart of the imports work. And looking back at all the npm packages out there, all npm packages do export something. For example, if you're using underscore, you can import that underscore line. Or if you're using moment.js, you can import the moment symbol from the whole package. Some of those packages are even more fine-grained. For example, let's say you're using Lodash, and you want to import a certain specific function out of Lodash. Let's say it's named for each or each. You could just import the each part instead of importing the whole Lodash library. You could just import that small part from that. So this is what basically this import-export feature brings on the table. And within Meteor's context, it has a few additional features, as in importing Meteor's own packages, because NPM and JavaScript in general is not fully aware of the Meteor environment, because Meteor has its own packaging system right now that contains things those we call atmosphere packages. They reside either in your packages folder, or either we Meteor add them from atmosphere, so it's nowhere in the root of your project, somewhere else. So Meteor has the necessary plumbing to pull all those up from different places in your hard drive, and make them available to your application at the moment. But NPM itself is not aware of that, so Meteor has small helpers to make it easier for you. And furthermore, there are some gotchas that are not fully solved in the current Meteor stack. For example, it's kind of tricky to import CSS files. I mean, you can, of course, import them, but it's a little different depending on where you are using them. Or especially importing assets, static assets like font files, like images. Uh, those things are not really easy to get into your app if they are exposed by an npm package. It has some gotchas. I mean, don't worry, we're gonna discuss all of those. But the thing is, you have to wrap your head around to the mechanics of how exports and imports work first, and then we could slowly work our way through all of those problems. That being said, the import and export thing is actually one of the features of ES 2015. I implore you to actually read up on the new JavaScript features, and because it's got lots of cool stuff. It's got arrow functions, making it very easy for you to understand what this is. Um, and what the current context is. Especially, you also have instead of var, you now have let and const. It makes your life such easier that you know when you declare a variable in your app where it is available to, and it's not leaking outside into other parts of the app because it is block scoped. Block scope means like you're within a function and you declare let or const keyword, and it's there. It's not available to outside of that function. Or if you are in a for block, it's not available outside the for block. It's just there. So containing all those small variables that those small parts of your application needs to contain, it's a great feature. Yeah, apart from that, we have classes. I mean, we always had classes, but we used to have to work with prototype, etc., and that was kind of confusing to a lot of people. And now that React is really popular, classes is a syntax that, especially if you're a React developer, that you use very often, and that actually makes it easy to work with classes on JavaScript. I mean, I'm not going to get into the discussion whether if classes are supposed to be used or not or avoided. I mean, that's a whole different topic. I'm not discussing functional versus object oriented here. But yeah, it's there. So there are also a lot of cool new features like iterating over arrays. Like you have your each map and reduce, and all those things are now standard. So you don't have to rely on libraries like underscore Lodash that much anymore, because most of those small utilities that those underscore like libraries provide, you actually have out of box. You can easily work with arrays and objects and collections. So JavaScript basically provides you a lot of new good stuff out of box right now. So it's best to maybe take a small course. There are lots of free courses out there actually. Uh, Actually, Kayas, you have shared a few of them previously, right, on the Slack channel. Maybe if you could share the refresh. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, you should.
I tried like a couple of them, but each one of them has like different ways of showing you what like how ES6 works. And I found like from the plural side ones are not very intuitive. That's what I found. Okay, and like the plural side one, the ones from there, I didn't find it like very intuitive. Rather, there's like the blog post I wrote like read like here and there, and YouTube videos. They were much more concerned rather than plural side videos.
Yeah, I mean,
in terms of yes.
Okay, I do agree that the information provided in some of those tutorials can be really actually tell you to do something in a certain way while another contradicts that. But that's the way it works with programming, because programming is not a set of specific instructions that you follow. It gives you it provides you with a realm that you actually figure your way around. So ES6 has different ways of doing things, just like ES5 and the previous versions of JavaScript used to do, and all other languages out there do. So it's up to you to discover different ways of doing things, and then choose the way that best suits you. Some of them really technically does not matter. Some of them matter in hard pressed conditions, especially you're trying to optimize for marginal performance. But some of them just doesn't matter. You could use it. You could go either way. So it's always best to keep an eye on different tutorials, blog posts, and different ways of doing things, just so you know your options. Uh, so yeah, I mean, you probably need to check out more than one tutorial and familiarize yourself with how things work. But I mean, you should definitely take some time to do that. I mean, actually, a day or two would suffice, and it's certainly worth the time you spend away from your project, because in the end, after those few days, you're gonna get back to your project and see things differently and gain a new perspective, and maybe you'll begin developing much faster. I mean, this has been my experience, so I really suggest you should do the same. Okay. Anyhow, before moving on, I mean, I know I've said a lot of things right now. Um, is there any very specific thing that you want to discuss? I'm asking this to you, Julio, because I mean, basically you asked for this session. So, if you have a specific question right now, we could start discussing that first. Otherwise, I'm gonna go on blubbering like this. You have your mic turned off.
Okay, I was trying to I cloned an admin an admin
Application.
app in
Uh-huh.
Spinia, and it comes with several stuff. But it was in a previous version of Meteor, and I just made Meteor update to the latest version 1.3.4, and some stuff stopped working. It
Okay.
couldn't find, for instance, a moment. Yes.
All right. Is it possible for you to share your screen with us right now and show us some of those errors you're getting, or some of those things that are not working? Is it? Can you do that for us so that we could
Yeah.
actually discuss this on something tangible?
Let me show you.
Great. Okay, cool. Uh, you can share your screen using the icons that are gonna appear on the left of your Hangout window. If you move your mouse cursor to
Oh,
the left, a sidebar will reveal, and there's this green screen icon with an arrow in it. So you can click on that and select which window from your desktop you want to share, or you could share the whole desktop if you want. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I'll also mark you as a presenter so that we all see you. Yep. Okay. Cool. All right now.
so this is a very cool admin dashboard
Uh-huh.
uh, that are updated to Meteor 1.3.
Okay.
And then it fails to find some stuff.
Okay. Okay. Well, first of all, this fail
It,
to
it,
parse source map is actually a bug that's either related to Meteor itself or related to Chrome. Um, is your Chrome the latest version?
yes.
Yeah, okay, because there are a few open issues on Meteor's GitHub issue tracker that deal with this. It's kind of cryptic. It's kind of hard to pinpoint where it is coming from. A lot of people have been reporting this. For example, I've been hit by the same thing about a week ago, and then just suddenly disappeared. I've tried a few things like deleting my Node modules folder and then Meteor reset. and then rebuilding it, and then installing the latest Chrome, etc. And suddenly it disappeared. I don't know what I did to make it disappear. I don't know if it was due to some package. I really have no idea, but I know that there are some open issues on GitHub about this specific thing. And the good news is it makes your life harder to debug your project on the client, but it doesn't affect your application. So fail to parse source map is an error that you don't have to be concerned with unless you are using browser tools to debug your app.
I
So we
see.
could skip that. Yeah, yeah. So so that's some partial good news for you. So there's this path for couldn't find the route name collections. Yay. Okay, that seems to be
No,
something.
that's a problem with the thing itself.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking so. Okay, so this was the whole thing. This was the whole problem here.
No, no. Then one point there wasn't. Let me, because this is another version. Let me come back to the version.
Okay.
Uh, I I have worked a little bit on that.
The path couldn't found a route name collection. That's from the iron router middleware stack. If you update the iron router middleware stack, that'll go away. Okay.
Right, yes, you're right about that, but this is not that specific problem because the Iron Router middleware stack problem has been a bug hitting a lot of Meteor apps for the past 2 weeks due to some new Chrome version, and it's a totally different bug, and it's like completely cripples your app.
Yeah, that was mine.
This one,
I
yeah,
was like
yeah,
that. The
I had
middleware
this.
stack.
I had the same problem with some of the earlier Meteor apps I delivered using Iron Router in the past, and I had to update them. But the solution was easy. You just Meteor update and make sure all your Iron Router related packages are up to date. And while at it, you could actually update from very old versions of Meteor to a pretty new release. I've actually done that without any headache. I had some quite large Iron Router based app that was in 1.0 something, I think. It was quite old, and it took me about a few hours to make it work with the latest release. So I encourage you to do the same and update your old apps so that the upcoming versions are much easier to update to. Anyhow, Julio. So yeah, okay. What's the problem?
Uh,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
well, let me. I'm just starting it up with another version
Uh-huh.
I was working on, and you see other issues. Let me clean it
Okay.
up here.
Let's see.
Okay, you see, moment is not defined. You see
Okay,
that?
okay, yeah, let's see where that is coming from. It's full calendar min.js. Oh, okay. Have you got Moment installed your app? Moment.js?
Yes. The way this app comes, it has
Mm-hmm.
here look
Uh-huh.
full calendar. It comes with a moment here. It's not finding it. So what
Okay.
I did
All right,
is
all right, all right.
so what I
Hold
did
on a
is
second. Uh-huh.
I
Okay,
added
where did
npm. It still doesn't work.
okay,
I didn't put any ports.
Okay, okay, hold on a second. Could you come back to full calendar JS? How did you import that into your application? Where is it coming from?
Can you ask again?
Where is full calendar JS coming from? How
It's
did you get that into your application?
it,
Ah, okay.
just on
All right.
clients.
Okay, okay, okay. I see. Well, I mean, first of all, what you are doing here is really the last thing you should do uh, for using external JavaScript libraries. First of all, if you are in a version that is before 1.3, the way to use full calendar JS is to import it using an Atmosphere package. Not
Mhm.
like this. Not put it directly into your application. If you do this, you're gonna end up without, these missing dependencies. The exports of the actual library are gonna be missing. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have all sorts of problems. Putting them in a folder like plugins and hoping that it's gonna work, uh, it's not gonna work
Mhm.
most of the time. So if you need to have full calendar in your app, and if you're not using npm, the first thing you should do is search Atmosphere for full calendar and Meteor at blah blah full calendar. You
Okay.
get that? Okay.
Yeah.
And if you want to avoid Atmosphere, you could actually search npm and see if it's available on npm and use it from there. So let's actually do that. Let's just search npm for full calendar JS. It's probably there. Could you open up your browser,
Yeah.
your web browser? Yeah, and then go to npmjs.org and search for full calendar there.
Full calendar.
All right, yeah, you have full calendar there. So I guess this is the one you're actually using, right? Okay, so npm install full calendar. That's what you're gonna do. Let's get back to your app.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'll install it here. Let's see.
Yeah, right. And you should also write dash dash save at the end, because if you don't do that, it's not going to end up in your package JSON. The thing is, when
Ah.
you're installing using npm install, if you don't put dash dash save as an option, you're
Uh-huh.
gonna install it temporarily. But when you say dash dash save, it's going to add this dependency to your packages JSON file. So
I
so
see.
we don't, okay. Not don't do this right now. Don't do this right now. Let's look at your packages JSON. Let's look at the contents of the file. Could you open up your editor and show us the content of that file? No, no, not that. The one at the root. This is for Meteor packages. The one for npm packages is at the root of your project. So yeah, close
Mhm.
all those folders, and you're gonna find. Oh, okay. Hold on. What's the release of this Meteor project right now?
One point.
What version?
Let me put here.
No, not that version. Not that version. You should look at your .meteor folder. There's a file called release, and it's written in there. .meteor, the first folder. Yeah, that one. Yeah. There is a really, yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. You're 1.3. Oh, so where is your? Ah, you have to in. Where's your package JSON?
I don't know.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Then let's get back to your terminal and say npm init. npm init. What this? No. npm init, init. What this is going to do is create a package.json folder file for you. Yeah, you should answer these questions. Yeah, this is you could just hit enter here because that's the name of the app. Okay, and oh, okay. Don't use capital letters.
Okay.
Give it a different name, like Libertas Hispania. Yeah, okay. This is yeah, you could call it. This is the version of your app. I mean, you could read up about this on npm. I'll actually paste the tutorial for package.json file on the Slack channel so that you could read about how to use. You should definitely. I just posted the link on Slack. You should definitely read that as soon as possible, so you know your options with package.json. Okay. Uh, you should actually finish now. There are some other questions in there. Yeah.
The index.js, I don't know.
No, don't worry about that right now.
Enter, enter, enter. Okay.
And okay. Now let's okay. Uh, okay. Now let's get back to the let's say
Package.json.
yeah, packages. Yeah, the package.json file now contains this. Okay. Now let's delete the node modules folder. Let's just remove it for now because we can install it again.
So, let's do what? Sorry?
The node module. You have a folder called node modules. Oh, hold on. Oh, okay. It has created the dependencies for you automatically. Okay, cool. So let's switch over to package.json. The file
Okay.
in your editor. Yeah. Okay. See. Uh, okay. Okay. These are the dependencies currently available. Let's try something. Let's try adding underscore to your application. Okay. So let's switch over to your terminal. I just want to show you something specifically. So let's switch over to the terminal. Let's do npm install underscore. You have a typo there.
Save.
In no, don't say save. Don't say save. Just npm install underscore. And you mistyped install. Yeah. Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
Okay, now let's look at your package.json file and let's see if the dependencies now have underscore in it.
No.
Okay, no, it doesn't. Okay, let's now do it with the save option. Okay, now let's look at the package.json file. And maybe we need to refresh. Okay, see, underscore is now there. So this is the main difference. When you do npm install something, you temporarily install it for that project. For example, you want to try a package, you want to see if it works or not, you can use that. But to make sure it is actually available to the project later on, you need to use -- save. Okay? So that's
So
the
I can
first thing you should do.
do npm without the save, run Meteor, and it will be working for a moment.
No, it's
When
not.
will stop working?
Okay, since we installed full calendar now using npm, now we are going to get back and delete that from the plugins folder because we don't want those things to actually collide. No, you have actually done that. You don't have to do it again
No, I
because
haven't.
since the first time we did npm init, npm was clever enough to actually get all of those from your
Oh.
node modules folder the first
see.
time. Yeah? Yeah.
Okay.
So now you should go to your plugins folder. Your plugins folder. Yeah. There's something called full calendar. Okay, just remove it. You don't want it here. Yeah. Okay. And if there's okay, right. So this should now help this work, but I'm not sure if it's going to work out of box like this because there may be other stuff that you have actually. Oh, now you have to import full calendar wherever you are using it. So in your app, where are you using full calendar?
Okay, I'm using it. Hold on.
In your code base. In your code base. No, it's not going to run like this. It's not going to work.
Okay.
Yeah, you have
It
to
doesn't
get
have
the.
It doesn't
Sorry?
have the in I'm using it on hold on. Use pages. Hmm.
Is this a dashboard template that you downloaded
Right.
from somewhere?
Yes.
Okay, I see. Okay, that in that case, you're gonna have a lot of problems. I mean, this is not going to work like this out of box. Other things are gonna clash. Other things are gonna be missing.
Yeah. Yeah. Now
Okay,
I understand
let
that.
me tell you. Yeah, it's gonna complain about other stuff as well, not just about full calendar. Uh, well, okay. Uh, these templates, they are created uh, in such a way that you click around, you switch from different HTML pages, and when you get to an HTML page, it's got its own dependencies, and it loads them from the disk, from the server, calls blah blah jQuery, calls some other files and CSS and whatnot. But Meteor bundles all of them together and sends them to the client as a single thing. So downloading a template from somewhere and putting it into your application folder is never going to work. You should perhaps first read the Meteor guide, the part about app structuring. Let me find that. Okay, yeah. Okay. I'm pasting the link on Slack here. Okay. Julio, this is the first thing you should probably read. I mean, before moving on with this, because the thing is, what your application is trying to do right now is take the whole template, all its files, and combine them all together and send it to your client on the first load. And it's gonna complain about missing things. Your links and routes are not gonna work. I mean, you're not gonna be able to access any of those files like public slash blah blah views slash something. It's not gonna be there. You need a router to handle those things, etc. So that's actually why these templates are not popular in Meteor world, because they need a lot of work to make sure they work the way you want them to. So what you need is instead take the general layout, maybe as your app layout, and then maybe take part of it and install them as independent libraries, either using administrative packages or using npm. or creating your own wrappers about those. I mean, there are lots of things that you need to do there. Okay, yeah, Chaos actually pasted a great link there. Chaos, yeah, okay, that's the same file I. Yeah, that's the file actually. That's the link. That's from the link I just posted there. So, oh,
Thank
hold on,
you.
Alfie has a. No problem. I really wish we could just solve this problem like that in 5 minutes here, but this is like probably a week of work to get this really going. So this is the first thing you should know now. I mean, don't just take templates and throw them into your application folder and then hope it's gonna work. It's never gonna work. Instead, take the layout. If you really use those templates, dashboard templates, you take the layout first. Create your either if you are using Blaze, create them as independent templates using Blaze space bars templates, and then
Mhm.
if those templates require some jQuery or other JavaScript files for them, make sure that you install individual pieces into your application, not just putting them in the plugins folder like that. No, it's not going to work either. By either taking them from npm, or if it's not on npm, search atmosphere, take them from atmosphere. If it's not even on atmosphere, then what you should do is look at the JavaScript and CSS of those files, and then you need to work about what they export. I mean, I need to have to tell you about exports, but this is too early for you to learn about that. I mean, because there's an existing JavaScript library, and trying to make it work with Meteor is not that hard. But there's really a lot of other stuff that you should know first. I mean, maybe we should take a very small project, and I mean very small proof of concept, to take some for example, download some jQuery plugin and trying to make it work. That's perhaps a better way for you to understand how to make external, especially jQuery based libraries work with Meteor. Because yeah, yeah, maybe we should discuss that later on with you, Julio, on Slack, right?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And about imports, I think imports is not. It's also something you need to look at later on. I mean, because if you wanna learn about imports right now, you're gonna actually miss the fundamentals that you need to know beforehand. And those fundamentals are the Meteor fundamentals first, because once you know how Meteor actually handles all the JavaScript provided to it, then it will be easier for you to expand that knowledge with npm packages and imports and load orders. But currently, you need first a better understanding of how Meteor actually handles the existing JavaScript files and HTML files and CSS files in its root folder, or any other folder except for the imports. Because what it does is it combines all the HTML, and the HTML is actually converted to spacebars and Blaze templates. And then it also takes all the CSS and combines them together into a single file, except for a few cases where the file is too big. And then does the same for the JS as well. I mean, the whole complete JS is combined into a single unified file. So this is why throwing these things into the plugins folder is not going to work. It's taking the min.js, it's taking the unminified JS, it's taking your CSS, it's like less and sus and all those files, and they're like clashing. They're like trying to fight.
Hello?
Yeah, he just disconnected for a while. He'll come back in a second. Don't worry. Yeah. Did you hear me? Julio.
I can hear. Yes.
All right.
Well,
He'll come back in a
suppose,
second. Don't worry.
yeah, supposedly, case this was a Meteor template prepared for Meteor, but it seems like it
Yeah.
wasn't. Yeah, yeah.
What's the name? The template.
It's in Spinia.
Ah, I know this.
It worked fine on Meteor 1.1 or something without any errors, but it seems like it wasn't really moved into Meteor mode like Sakos is saying.
Normally, it's quite difficult to, let's say, if you buy any template, yeah, and
Yeah, I know.
integrate it inside Meteor, it's quite difficult. You have
No,
to just
yeah.
go through it like one by one, and that's what
Right.
I kind
Sorry,
of.
guys. My battery died, so I had to find a power outlet. All right now.
I was explaining a case that I understand a bit that we cannot just bring the template and move it to. It's a lot of work to move it to Meteor. That one I got was, they were saying, was specific for Meteor, but it looks like it wasn't really prepared in the right way for Meteor, as you said.
That's specifically about way Meteor works. I mean, if you are using a web server and using static HTML combined with different JavaScript files and CSS, etc., it would work. Or some of those templates are built for Angular, I think. You may have some mileage using Angular with Meteor, but I mean, if you're not really familiar with Angular, it's really going to be hard again. So basically, instead of taking a template and putting it into the Meteor folder, you should think about building that template ground up using small pieces, and to be able to do that, you should decide which parts of that template you are actually going to use in your application, and take individual JavaScript, HTML, and CSS parts from those and convert them to the correct structure that Meteor expects you to have. Because you need to convert the HTML part to Blaze templates. That's the first thing you need to do. And then take the JavaScript plugins or libraries that those parts use and install them either from npm or either from Atmosphere, and it's not even existing there. Then you should wrap them in wrapper packages, or use them in the imports folder. And because some of those libraries have proper JavaScript exports, but it's going to be a little advanced for you right now, maybe. So I think what you should do now, probably after this, is take some time to create a blank Meteor project and try to get one small thing from one of those templates working. Anything. I mean, for example, login page. It doesn't have to log in, just the page itself, or maybe the main layout, including the sidebar, not including the widgets at all. Or maybe take small widget, for example, take a graph or chart widget and try to display a single chart widget in a simple Meteor app. So that way, you will have a much better understanding of how it works. And in the meantime, if you have questions, just go ahead and ask them on the Slack channel, and I'm sure everyone's going to be able to help you out there, okay? And once you complete that, you will know how to put all of those pieces together and generate the complete admin interface experience for your app. Okay?
Okay.
I think that's the way. I think that's what you should do.
How do I put the presentation back to you?
Sorry?
How do I put you?
I couldn't hear.
How do I put you as the presenter? Back to presenting.
Oh,
just
okay.
Just
you are presenting, right?
Click on his thumbnail.
Okay, you're not presenting anymore. Okay. Okay, now you're famous. We have all seen your face for a long time, so we're not gonna forget about you. Okay. So yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I was hoping maybe we could talk in depth about how imports actually work, and some maybe explore some of the syntax. But we're like over our 1 hour slot here. But let's do that another time. I know that this is a hot topic, and maybe you should take some time to prepare with all the basics first, and then maybe next week we could do this again. Maybe next week we could actually get into discussing the mechanics of imports. Okay?
One question: can we mix imports
Yeah.
and the old way of working with Meteor, or we have to
Sorry?
convert? For instance, if we import a package like Moment.js, we have to import all other packages that are in that project.
Well, if you want to use Meteor from NPM, sorry, a Moment.js from NPM, you need to use the import statements in the files that you are going to use a moment from. Hold on a second. Okay. Okay, you know what? Actually, the first thing I shared, the structures, uh, does quite a good job explaining that. I'm also going to share another link using npm packages. That's also another specific link. Hold on, where's my Slack? Okay, I need to launch Slack again. I'm gonna paste in another link right now, but I think you haven't taken your time to read the Meteor guide. Have you? Have you read the Meteor guide, Julio?
Sorry?
Have you read the Meteor guide at all?
Yes.
Are you sure? Don't lie to me. The thing is, this is actually I'm kidding. This is actually covered in the Meteor guide in depth, and it's got quite great examples. So I just pasted 2 links from the Meteor guide. One of them is regarding to the app structure, and the other one is regarding to explicitly about using packages from npm. Okay, it's got examples of how to use the import statements. It's also got examples about where to put the files and how to structure your app in terms of that. So you should definitely read up on those. But I think before doing all of those, maybe it should be even better to just take the time, maybe a day, to read the guide through. I mean, there are some advanced topics in there that are going to be a little hard for you to understand at this moment. But just try to have an idea of what it contains. But apart from those, there are some really basic stuff that you should know by heart. That there are the absolute important basics of Meteor: the introduction part, the abstraction part, and the packages part. I mean that's really important. And once you are actually familiar from those, then you could build on that using the features from npm, the features with imports, etc. So at this point, maybe before starting importing packages from npm, maybe you should use packages from Atmosphere, so that you don't have to import them. When you meet your add moment.js, you don't have to import anything. It's just going to be there.
That's the confusion. I've done an application basically only importing from Atmosphere, nothing from npm, not using the import at all. The old ways of now the confusion when I started to use 1.3 npm modules and import.
Okay, yeah, that's actually the first thing I was trying to tell you right in the beginning of this session. Using imports is optional. You don't have to use them because Meteor still works the way it used to work. it hasn't changed. It just introduced this as a new feature. If you find yourself in a spot where you actually need that fine-grained load order management, and then imports is going to really matter to you. Uh, if you are if you find that easy to grasp, then of course it's always better to start using imports ground up, because it's really going to help you think in terms of structure anyway. But if that's a topic that you are not actually ready to implement yet, you just can't forget about it. You need to add the package from Atmosphere. That's it. It's there in your app. It's global. So maybe in the previous example that we tried to solve with you, instead of adding full calendar and moment from npm, maybe we should have searched Atmosphere for full calendar. I know there are a few full calendar packages in there, and Meteor add that. Then the error would magically disappear. Maybe that's what you have. That's what you got to do right now. If you can start working with those, and then have your app working, then you can gradually move on to imports. Maybe that's a better learning path. Yeah, but
Good.
I sincerely suggest you do that as soon as possible, because this is the future of JavaScript. This is the future of Meteor. So you don't want to be left behind. So as soon as possible, as soon as you have a great understanding of how Meteor works, how Atmosphere packages work, then you should begin gradually moving on to imports. Yeah?
Okay.
Make sense? Okay. All right. Really, I gotta go, guys. I mean, this has been lovely. I mean, I'm really thrilled that we got a chance to do this, but so it's my Saturday evening here. I need to, relax. But I love that we did this today, and I'm looking forward to do this again next week. Really, and I'm willing to hold another session on specifically imports, given that you prepare yourself for that knowledge during this week. I mean, if you can do that, I'd be really glad to actually get introduced to the real usage of imports then. Okay? And if not, Kayas, we can hold a session with you specifically for imports, because I think you are kind of ready about that. So, Julia, if you're not ready until next week, don't worry about it. I mean, since this is all recorded, you can watch it later. You could still ask questions on Slack. And Kayas, I'm sure, would be happy to also help you out, since he's going to be learning that himself too. And yeah. So, is there anything you need to add or ask or say? Otherwise, it's going to be, have a great weekend for me and you guys. Okay?
It was great, by the way. The view looks
Try to
great.
get better there.
Okay, thank you guys. Okay, so see you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.